All right, so you're an artist, right? And you probably get paid a very minimal amount for your performances. I'm not talking if you're a massive artist. I'm talking if you're trying to make it in an industry, you're trying to get your name out, all of these things. So usually, at least here in my city, your booking fee, which you're paid to perform, is really all not that much. And if you want to go the distance with your career, with your brand, with your music, whatever it is, you know that in this day and age, you also need visual content. You need your photos and your videos and everything to look on point. Now, I know from experience, a lot of people don't want to take what they're paid to perform and hand it over directly to somebody else who's going to film their footage and shoot their photographs. So, in today's video, what I'd like to do is go through the editing process of if a photographer comes to your event to shoot you, to shoot your performance, to shoot your gig, and you will do the editing side of his job. In essence, hopefully saving yourself some money, taking the power into your own hands, and using that skill to potentially also help other brands that you work with and help yourself become a self-made artist and a successful artist just doing art. So today we're editing your DJ, your performance photographs in Adobe Lightroom. Let's do it. Welcome back to the Self-Made Artist Series. This is week 11. I'm Worf, the creative director and artist behind brands like Worf and RC, Crossing Borders, Worfy's World, and recently, which is also pretty sweet, I have won the award for Ottawa's Producer of the Year. So everybody that voted for me here in Ottawa, thank you. You guys are awesome. In this video, we're going to tackle some photo editing. Now, I just shot an event on Saturday for the White Rabbit, an event, a house music event here in the city of Ottawa, which I love and I've been doing forever. And I've edited most of the photos, but I saved 3 so I could show you how we can jump into Lightroom and edit them. The idea being, hopefully if a photographer comes to shoot you, you can maybe pay him a little bit less because you have the knowledge to edit your own photos. Essentially, you pay the photographer as the camera operator just to shoot, and then you would handle all the editing. So, let's jump into Lightroom. I'll show you the 3 photos that we're going to work with, and I'll walk you through my editing steps as we go about editing these photos. Now, the more you do, something to note, the more photos you do, the more you will create your own visual identity, your own style to editing your photographs. This is mine. We work in creative media, so there are no wrong answers, and that is awesome. One other thing that I'd actually like to point out, which not a lot of people talk about, and this goes for photo and video, is your job. Now, as you go, let me back up. As you go about learning these skills, and you're YouTubing, you're looking up tutorials, tons of people are gonna be like, "This is the exact way that you got to do it when you're reading the scope, and you got to make sure that you're in between these lines." I want you to disregard all of that. Now, that may sound a little controversial, but let me simplify it for you, for a creative. Your job with editing, with whatever piece of content it is, your singular job is to make it aesthetic, to make it look cool, to make it jump off the screen to anybody viewing it. It's not about being pixel perfect and correct, it's about being aesthetic and cool. So when you jump in now to your editing, you're not hindered by all of these tips and tricks that you've been taught the whole time. All you're doing is guiding your own motions to the final export where that thing that you've made looks awesome. Do that and continuously doing that with tons of practice, and you will be so far off everybody else, and you'll be having the time of your life at the same time. So let's jump into Lightroom with a lot less rambling, and I'll show you the 3 images, and let's talk about editing them. So these are 3 photos that I had chosen from the White Rabbit event. One is of Rick. The other one is with our nightlife commissioner, who played an awesome set, Grandini, if I said that correctly. And he was the opening DJ, but he was in the crowd partying, Peter, or Pithra. So I figured I would give you the DJ shots that somebody would take of you, one wide with the crowd, one medium shot, and then let's say a fan in your crowd. So you wanted to paint the whole picture with your content, people having a good time at your event. Here it is. Okay, so let's start. There has been nothing done to these yet. So I'm just going to walk you through my process and potentially give you a few tips as well as we proceed through it, like hitting the J key and seeing what's underexposed and overexposed. And we'll go. But again, as I said at the beginning, right before we jumped into this, my job is just to make it look cool, and I'm going to do that. So let's turn that off for now. Here we go. I'm basically just sliding sliders until it looks awesome. Blacks. Sometimes, if the crowd's not insanely big, I like to make the where the fans are at the bottom, like in here, a little bit darker. Kind of muddies it up a little bit, so there may be a bunch of people, there may not be that many people, whatever. I constantly go back and forth between the J key. That is a white light on the back. Sometimes it looks really good if you blow it out. Now, actually, I had already gone in and it was actually initially shot like this, which obviously is a little bit crooked. So I already did that. I might even go in a little bit more, get less of the room. Something else to point out, especially me when I shoot this event, is we're not allowed to use flash photography for this event. We like it dark. We like it house, dark, nightclub vibes. So I'm always shooting in natural light. Now that can be very tough because it's a dark nightclub and most things are almost black when you're in there. But with enough practice, you'll be able to figure out exactly how you can shoot these events just with the natural light. But it also means you're finding the places in the room that have some natural light bouncing off them. I'm going to use a little bit of clarity, I think. No texture. That's fine like this. Okay, let's pull the saturation down a bit and the vibrance up. This is my own personal technique a little bit. I just like the way that it mutes it and makes it a little bit vibrant at the same time. I'm going to put a cinematic S-curve on it because that's just typical for me. And if you notice, a lot of my motions here when I'm editing a photograph are light-handed. I'm not going too crazy. And I think that's important. If I go Shift M, I can make a radial. And I'll invert it up here. A neat trick to add depth is if I pulled everything around this image down, I'm also going to desaturate it. So whatever's like closer to the lens is going to be a little bit desaturated. But again, it's light-handed, so it's turn it off and on. You never really know, but it's adding just a ton of depth to it. I'm going to just zoom in on Rick a little bit. Now, as I said, it's natural light photography at 8,000 ISO, 1/125 f2. So naturally, it's going to be a little bit like this, a little bit grainy. So we're not going to blur it too much. Something that you also have to understand, especially with a wide shot, and the fact that 99% of the people that are going to be viewing this image are on social media, it's a high resolution image and it gets shrank like this for a phone screen. So even if you zoom in like this on a computer and it's a little bit pixelated and noisy, when you put that into a phone screen, it's going to look great. This is the finished image that we've done for this first one for this wide shot. We can use Y and we can see what we did at the beginning or what the original image was like and what the edited image is like. And if you like it, great. And even more so, if you like the edit, and maybe you work in this room a lot, like I do, and you work at this venue a lot, you can go in and say, okay, well, this edit that we've done on this image is going to work well for other images in the future. So you can actually go up to your presets, create a preset, and go white rabbit in red, and save the different effects that you want on it, and create. And now what's going to happen is your white rabbit in red is going to go to whatever folder that you put that in. So, not actually sure where I just saved that one, but either way, done and saved. Let's move on now to the wide shot here, or the medium shot, I should say, of Grandini. And for this one, maybe what we'll do is we'll go to the user presets. These are things that I've saved over the course of me working in this venue and me working with tons of different businesses and events, and potentially scroll through these and find something that we like. Now, I don't typically go and slap a preset on and call it a day, but sometimes they look really cool, but you go and fine tune it after. So these are already going to have my unique taste and style to them, naturally, because they're mine and I didn't purchase this pack, I just made them and saved them. And I'm going to find something that maybe screams out. And I'm also thinking in the back end here, like, what might he like? What might the headliner, Grandini, the Ottawa's nightlife commissioner, what might he like? And I'm going to try to guess, as somebody that is involved in music deeply and somebody that's involved in photography and video and visual work, I'm going to try to match something that might be his personality versus also what he played. And I know that's a little bit assumptive, but I'm going to be thinking a lot more in depth about what I'm doing to this image than does it look cool. There are questions that you can ask yourself so that it you kind of get to a conclusion of your image. So let's take a look at this. This is subtle, and I like this. If you go up to the highlight amount, the amount right here, you can do your 100% dry or 100% wet. It's a term we use in music production if you're changing a parameter on a plugin or a sound or an effect. So how much of that do you want actually coming in? So let's turn that off, or let's go to 107. That looks good. Let's hit J. Some of it's a little underexposed. I might just bring up the fade on the end. It just kind of makes it a little bit more cinematic on my end. I'm going to maybe introduce a little bit more of his jacket into it. It's pretty good. The rabbit's not blown out, but now it is, so let's just pull it down ever so slightly. Pardon me, I got a little bit of a cold right now. That's cool. Be careful with the dehaze slider, because the more you push it, the more you really introduce noise into the image. Let's do this. Let's maybe drop the temp just a little bit, and we'll just see what it does. Makes it a little bit real. He had a very, it was a little bit harder, a little bit melodic too. So I'm gonna try to find this area that makes me feel like it's melodic and housey, and yeah, pardon me for keep on sniffling right now. I live with a cat too, and I found out I'm allergic to cats, so it's constant. Little sharpening on this one might do it well. Cool. Let's go zoom in just a little bit on his face. Add a little luminance. Perfect. The vignette might be nice here. If you hold Option on a Mac, you can see where the vignette is, even at very little amounts. And what's really cool about a vignette, especially at low amounts, is it does the job even if you don't even know it's there. So looking at it here, you might not think it's doing anything because it's off right now, and if you turn it on, it just darkens just this a little bit, and it actually and subconsciously pulls the viewer into the center of the image. That last thing, let's do some calibration on it. Don't want to make them too orange, but don't want to make them too red. Can desaturate the reds a little bit. bring the green tints up. And once again, why and why? See what we like. You know, maybe I took away a little bit too much, but I'm actually okay with that. Because he's also the nightlife commissioner of Ottawa, so an important role enough for the nightlife here in Ottawa. I don't want to make it too edgy and too crazy with the saturations of colors and too artistic. I also want to make it a little bit business professional, and that's just me as sitting here as the editor, thinking about the image and thinking about who this individual is, so that he can potentially use this image for more than one purposes. Because I'm going to send them to him as well, just as a hello and an introduction, and this is who I am, this is what I do. So, yeah. All right, last image. Let's do this one again from scratch. First, I'm going to start with the crop. I'm going to try to get his eyes on the upper third line. If I hit Command Z, we can go back to it. That looks better to me. J, definitely some of it's underexposed. Let's give it a little bit of exposure. Let's change the temperature a little bit so it's a little bit more natural. Again, he's right in front of the DJ booth, so there is that big orange light here. So I don't want to make it exactly skin tone because we're shooting natural light. The room was a little bit orange for the people that sit there. Now, on this image, instead of using the manual noise reduction, let's use the AI noise reduction. It works really, really well in Adobe Lightroom. You could use also things like Topaz Labs, but I find Topaz is making it a little bit more plasticky in the skin. So I find more so nowadays that Adobe Lightroom's denoise does a fantastic job. So that's going to take a few seconds. It's going to punch out another version of this image, higher file size, but it's going to have AI denoised it, and then I'm going to go in and make my edit on the new one that's about to be rendered. So here it is. Go back here. You'll see down on the bottom, it says right here, enhanced NR, and this one does not. I'm going to now X the one that's not enhanced NR. So now I have my denoised. Actually, I guess before we do that, I can show you. Here's the non, and here's the denoised. Let's zoom out a little bit. If you hold shift, you can actually change the zoom. Now, I want to point something else out. Noise in an image, grain, it's not a bad thing. It never has been a bad thing. Now, more so now than ever, people are trying to make them like buttery, smooth images. You don't need to. Well, if we go back to what I said at the beginning, your job is to make it look aesthetic. Your job is to make it look cool. Your job is to make somebody on your phone go, whoa, what is that image? That's your job. Nothing else is your job except that. As a editor, content person, whatever you want to call yourself. Cool. So let's jump into the edit now. A little bit of the shadows brought up. A little bit of the highlight on his face. I want him to pop. Peter, you look great, my friend. Also, fantastic DJ. Feel free to go check him out. Pithra on Instagram. Pithra. Maybe a little clarity now. Maybe not dehaze. We don't need to dehaze this one. Check the texture. No, not so much. I'll desaturate it just a little bit too. Vibrance up. Go ahead and do my cinematic S curve. Cool. Now I'm actually going to go into the skin tones again, but these are more manual skin tones. And I'm going to try to just pivot it ever so slightly to give me a more just kind of aesthetic color to his face. Here's something else that I didn't talk about. When you're editing your photo off your laptop or screen or whatever it is that you trust, don't edit your photo here at full brightness. Edit your photo here, somewhere in this range. Because if it looks good here, it's going to look good on social media when they're scrolling on their iPhone or Android or whatever it is, when their brightness is full and when their brightness is very, very low. So find a balance here in the middle and stick to it. I can't tell you how many times I've sat there and I've edited a whole album at full brightness, and I went to go look at it on my phone after. I was like, oh no, like just it didn't look right. So I've learned that lesson over the years. Moving on, mask. If you hold Option here on mask, it'll show you exactly what's being sharpened. This one I think I do want to sharpen significantly, because we denoised it with AI, so it kind of makes it smoother, and now we're going to go back and resharpen it a little bit. With all of these, you'll be able to hold Option and see what it's actually doing here. Great, that looks awesome. I'm going to skip that on this one, but we are going to go to our calibration as usual. Something you should get in the habit of is Command Z. You want to do something, Command Z, Command Shift C brings it back. So undo, redo. Again, guessing and checking. Sweet. Now that that's done, hit a Y. Do you like it? Do you not like it? In this case, I like it. Done. All right, so with those three images, hopefully that you can see a little bit into the process and making it a lot easier for you to digest mentally about the job of editing a photo in Lightroom for your performances, for your events, for whatever it is. This exact skill goes to literally every single thing that you photograph ever. So hopefully this gives you a little bit more power and control to your creativity for your brand when you're paying a photographer to come be the camera operator and shoot you for your event, and now maybe you have a little bit more confidence to go and edit these photos for yourself and saving you a few shekels. So that'll do it for week 11 here on the Self-Made Artist series. If you are enjoying this series, it helps a lot if you leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you want to see next, what you want to talk about. At this point in the series, we've tackled things like photography, like editing, like video editing, like music production, like the marketing side of your brand, things about social media. I've done this for, we're going on about 15 years now of fully investing myself into being an artist and everything that comes with being an artist. Because I did that, I ended up being a creative director and a business owner, running my own business, so that I can take these skills that I taught for myself for my own music brand, and then I could be self-sufficient. I could work for myself as a creative director and other brands and other businesses. And you're learning these technical skills, you're putting the time in so that it helps you, of course, but it also helps your career down the line. And you can be one of these people that can walk into a project and have some really good insight and some good technical knowledge to work with a team and to be able to help the companies and the brands that you work for. So if you want to hit us up, if you need help with any of these things, if you want mentorship, if you want me to jump in on a project with you, please visit us. I'm on Instagram at generation.mg or generationmediagroup.ca. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.